Omaha's news leader, chronicling the stories and people making a difference in our community. This is KETV Newswatch 7's Chronicle.
Hey, good morning, I'm Rob McCartney. For the next few weeks, we'll be devoting all of our shows to the upcoming November election, part of our year-long commitment to covering the issues and candidates running in 2018. We've talked to two of the three candidates running for Senate. The vote on Judge Brett Kavanaugh pushed back our interview with Senator Deb Fischer. We're going to have that before you November 6th. So we're moved on to another hotly contested race. It's Nebraska's 2nd congressional district. Last week we talked with Democrat Kara Eastman. You can find that interview on KETV.com. This morning we have our first-term Congressman Don Bacon in the studio with us, and appreciate you being in here this morning, Congressman. First off,
it's good to be back.
And you've been here a number of times. Yes, it seems like just yesterday. What surprised you most about Congress?
Well, the first thing that struck me was the anger out there right now. The day of the inauguration, it just hit me that just the loss of the civility and the loss of the respectful communications, and that's what hit me the most in January of 17. And I've seen it all the way through, and I feel bad about it. Our country, I think, deserves better from both sides of the aisle. I passionately debate for things I believe in, but I think we all need to raise that bar up. We need to be able to disagree respectfully, and right now I do not see that. I think the Kavanaugh hearings was just the latest example. So I think that's the thing that has hurt me most. But I know we've gotten a lot of good stuff done.
There have been warning shots, if you will, fired across the bow regarding Kavanaugh. You brought up Kavanaugh. Some say that some experts say that this election cycle may swing to a Democrat majority in the House, and one of the first things that would come up would be a vote on impeachment against President Trump and against Justice Kavanaugh. What do you say about that?
We've already had 2 impeachment votes against the president because the Democrat side has insisted on it, and I think it's true. If Speaker Pelosi gets the gavel this coming January, you're going to see a focus on impeachment, abolishment of ICE. You'll be talking about investigations. It'll be about gridlock. And when I go around door to door, and I go to Republican and Democrat doors, folks don't want to see that. Now, that doesn't mean they don't want you to stick up for your values and argue or debate with vigor what you believe in. But not with this. I mean, to say that we're going to go right into impeachment for Kavanaugh, I think is a sad state of affairs. But we've already done it twice on President Trump, even before anything's come out of the special investigator. So I think there's truth to it. That the other side of the aisle, they're talking about impeachment, gridlock, resistance, abolish ICE, investigations. I don't think that's what we need to do. We want to get results.
Let me ask you then about this race. New York Times polled 512 people in the district in late September, gave you a 9-point lead. 7% still undecided. You can see the numbers. It has a margin of error plus or minus 4%, making it a pretty close race on paper. You agree with the assessment?
I do. In fact, I've had Democrats call me and say, "Don, we show you up 10," because they don't want to see their party taken over by a Bernie Sanders, Democratic Socialist type of philosophy here in Omaha. So I've been told even by the other side of the aisle, here in the local area, or I would say the state Democrat Party, and also in D.C., that their numbers reflect very similarly. But I don't take it for granted. We're going to have to work hard. There's emotions on both sides. We know history shows that on midterms, the party out of power, they come in with more passion, enthusiasm. They're more angry. The side with power tends to be more complacent. We cannot let that happen. We have to get out and vote, and we need to get our friends to vote, our family to vote, because this will be a get out the vote campaign.
One of the big, when you say as far as working, it means raising money as well. We have a graphic. You raised, last numbers that we have, $1.8 million to Eastman, $782,000. That's significantly more. Is this a race about money? I mean, you have contributors who are like TD Ameritrade, Green Plains, Warner Enterprises, Kiewit. Those are some big businesses. Is it big corporation?
And I think it's more about what we've accomplished and the ideas. We have the best economy in 50 years, lowest unemployment in 49 years, economic growth that's almost 3 to 4 times higher than in January 17 when we came in. Wages climbing faster than inflation for the first time in a decade and a half. The World Herald reported it at 3.4% over inflation for Nebraska. We've restored our nation's military strength. We had readiness levels back to the Jimmy Carter era in January 17. We have now turned that around. We've done good work with VA, opioids, because we have a lot of problems right now with overdoses in our country. We also done some good work on human trafficking. I think we have a lot of results, but in the end, I think people want to know what I believe in versus my opponent. And we got some big issues ahead, and I'm a Nebraska conservative or a common sense conservative. She represents the Democratic Socialist part of the Democrat Party, and folks have to make a judgment. Do they want that to solve the problems or what I believe? And I think I'm gaining a lot of support from that.
You say you have big issues. What's your number one issue then?
Well, I think I have three, really. That I think that are primary for our country. Now, we have our health insurance too expensive. We need to lower costs, and I believe in having more competition, more choices, changing the pool structure. I do not support the government take over healthcare, so this will be a major issue in this race, and I think we're going to win on it. But two, also immigration. I have voted for two compromise bills that put more security at the border, improved our legal immigration system, but also showed compassion for those who've been here since they were 3 years old. Unfortunately, we didn't get it passed. We couldn't get enough people on the left or right on board. And the third big issue out there, I would say, is workforce reforms. When you have the lowest unemployment in 49 years, yet you have 12 million folks roughly that are able-bodied, don't have small children, aren't senior citizens, don't have a handicap, and they're on government programs. We need to help them get back into the workforce. So those, I think all three issues are critical for different sectors of our population. I think all important, and I want to take all three of them on.
And there's also an overarching issue here. It's the national debt.
Yep.
I mean, that right now, it's soared to over 21 trillion, comes out to about 65 grand per person. When it gets this high, government spends hundreds of $billions each year on interest
Right.
To creditors. How do we control this? Because this really does run a ton
Yes.
of the economy.
Well, it's going to be more about controlling spending. You know, even with tax cuts, our revenues are up. People don't believe it, but it's true. We're up about 20 billion from a year ago in revenues. So what happened, we cut those tax rates for individuals and businesses, but we've had so many businesses bring their money back from overseas. We have growth, more people are working and paying taxes. So the revenues have actually gone up, or they're just a little over what we had, but it's still an increase. Problem is our spending has increased, and so we have to be willing to make our choices. I supported getting our military restored, not a full buyback from where we were at in 2010. We had cut the military by 18% from 2010 till now, and we've restored 10% back, so 60% of the cuts. I wanted to do that because I think that's what we needed for national security and control spending everywhere else. But in this compromise environment, if you want to get that done, the Senate Democrats, particularly Minority Leader Schumer, said if you're going to spend $1 on defense more, we want another $1 for non-defense. And we had to haggle over that. And we got them down to 70 cents. So in the end, I had a choice. Do we spend more on defense with some increases everywhere else, or do we just hold everything down? But I think our national security required that plus up. I mean, when I looked at the stats, 1977 level readiness stats, Jimmy Carter era readiness, and we had only half of our Navy aircraft could fly. We had 80 people die from routine training operations because they weren't well enough trained. I felt like I owed it to our men and women in uniform to get that plus up, but it wasn't. It was a choice I didn't like.
Well, if you're looking at the balance, a 1 for 1, and you balance defense and healthcare, how does that, in your book?
Well, if you're talking about government takeover healthcare, I'm going to favor our national security because I don't want the government to take over healthcare. I want to provide more options, choices, and I passed a vision out of the House of a healthcare reform that would have lowered premiums by 20 and 30%, and it would have modified the pool structure that would have charged everybody at a healthy rate, and then you use taxpayer money to help offset those premiums of the high risk rate so that they're paying the same. What we have today is we have everybody in the same pool, and it's raised the rates for the healthy folks. A lot of them gotten out. That raised the rates even more. What we've seen is a doubling of health care under ACA. That pool structure has actually doubled the premiums for the average person out there that are in the market themselves, on the individual market. It's unacceptable. If we just made a simple change to how we do the pool structure and target our taxpayer money more directly on the high-risk individuals so they're paying no higher rate, we could cut premiums by 23%, and actually it's a good buy for taxpayers.
You say make a simple change. Nothing simple in Congress.
Right.
How do you get that change? I mean, this has been an ongoing battle.
Well, I think during the healthcare debate a year ago, we tried to bite the whole elephant, if you will, swallow the whole elephant. Sure. We should have taken more incremental approaches, and I think we would have been able to get more bipartisan support. So I think if we talk about the pool structure, we may be able to get more Democrat support on that. If we tackled on that, if we tackled on prescription drugs to get them on the market faster, we could probably get a better consensus on that, more bipartisan support. I think that a smaller bites at the apple, we could move the ball forward. But trying to do this wholesale reform didn't work. And I think in the end it became a very party line vote and wasn't effective.
Gotcha. Your opponent supports the College for All Act, supports providing debt-free tuition to college students so they don't have a huge debit or loan burden. Your thoughts on that?
When I talk to the 45-year-olds at the door, going door to door, they hate it. They say, why am I paying for somebody else's school? It's $600 billion. And she's also talked about paying off the debts of those student debts. It's $1.2 trillion. And you do that with their health care, what happens is government ends up spending at all levels, local, state, and federal, 56 to 57 cents on every dollar earned in this country. That's not America. Right now we're spending about 37 cents on every dollar. We need to teach responsibility, making good choices, and finding schools that fit our pocketbook, earning scholarships, but a free college education for everyone under $125,000 in earnings isn't working. And, in Europe they do this, but they tell people, you can go to school, you can't. It gives government more control. We don't want government to determine who can go to college and who can't.
Assault weapons ban. Yes, no?
No.
Why not?
And first of all, we have to define what assault weapons are. A lot of people think of machine guns. Machine guns are not, prevalent. They're highly restricted. So I think this implies semi-automatic weapons. And I think that 99% of the people out there are law-abiding. They're good people. We should respect and protect their rights, their Second Amendment rights in this case. I would rather make sure that the dangerous person who's proven himself dangerous or has a mental health issue that shows that he's dangerous to himself or others, those are the folks we should make sure that don't get guns and restrict their Second Amendment rights. So I'm for protecting and defending the rights of the law-abiding individual. And so they say take away semi-automatic weapons when they say automatic weapon or assault weapons. But there's more crimes committed with pistols, so that will be next. Pistols, or revolvers, so it won't stop with the gun control advocates out there. It's not about assault weapons. It's in the end they'll want to keep chipping it back till there's nothing.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a short break now. When we come back, though, we're going to talk tariffs. When we talk a little more health care, possibly the environment, a whole bunch of issues. We'll see where the conversation goes. You're watching KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. Welcome back. This is a special Commitment 2018 edition of KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. Joining me this morning, freshman Congressman Don Bacon, running for re-election. And Congressman, we talked a little bit about the economy, but not tariffs. Your thoughts on them? Are they good, bad?
The tariffs, the way they've been done, I give it a mixed grade. Okay. First of all, I'll give the president a compliment for identifying a problem. China has been unfair. They steal our intellectual property. They glut the market with subsidized goods, which hurt our industries here. So I think he was right to identify, hey, this is a problem, we can't turn by it, we can't ignore it. But what I think I would have done is done a more targeted, maybe a more sequential approach to doing tariffs instead of the shotgun approach where you had multiple countries and multiple industries. Because when you do that, some industries in our own country, they win and others lose. And I think I have troubles when a government policy creates winners and losers in your own a country like that, because there's always consequences of tariffs. Some of them are, you just can't expect them. You can't anticipate them because they have a second and third order of effects down there. So I think he did a good job identifying we can't look past what China's doing. I would have done a more targeted, maybe more a sequential approach instead of the shotgun approach.
A lot of the farmers aren't happy.
Well, I would say when you talk to the farmers, they know that he is trying to fix a problem that needs to be fixed. And they're willing to give him a little time. But if this goes on a long time, you're right, the anger will grow. The good thing is we got the U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement there. We still have to sign it and get it done. We have to get it through the House and the Senate. That's a good thing because our exports for Nebraska are very much tied to that agreement and can't trade to Canada and Mexico. So we want to protect that and get that on the books as soon as we can. We also got the U.S.-Korea agreement signed. That was good. And we have an on principles agreement with the EU, so let's get that done, and then we can focus on China. But I was just talking to our beef folks today and our pork folks today. Their exports have gone up. Japan has been exporting more beef, according to the folks I was talking to today, our processors, and they said their trade is skyrocketing. So what that tells me is we get a trade agreement with Japan, lower those tariffs equal to Australia, we'll really be taking that market.
Hey, let's talk about the Farm Bill here. One of the big sticking points has been SNAP, formerly food stamps. President Trump wants tougher work requirements attached to that. Do you support that?
I do, because we have roughly 12 million folks that aren't working on government programs, but they don't have small kids, they're not a senior citizen, they're not handicapped, and yet we have record unemployment, or record lows of unemployment, right? So we need to help those folks get back to work. So what we've done is we said, hey, if you're receiving SNAP and you don't fit in those criteria with the small kids, no small kids, not a senior citizen, no handicap, then we expect you to work or get technical training or some kind of college, whatever you want to do for 20 hours, or a combination thereof. But our goal is to give an individual the tools so they can get back in the workforce, compete. We want to get them full-time work. And I think this is good for them, but it's also good for our economy, good for our country.
What if they don't want to? What if they're perfectly happy not looking for work, not going to school?
And I think, but if they're receiving government programs and they don't have a small kid, they're not a senior citizen, but they want to go to work, well, they owe it to the taxpayer to do better. I mean, the taxpayers shouldn't have to. I know hardworking farmers, hardworking folks working at 3M or Valmont, they're busting their butt to make a living, but yet they're having to support folks who don't want to work. They're not wanting to do that. We should expect people to try to become independent from government.
Social Security, is it broken? And if it is, does it take a major overhaul?
I think it does. It's supposed to be insolvent in 2034, and that's not my word. That's CBO's word. I read an article this week that like I was making up this word. I said, no, I get that out of CBO. And so it's going to run out of money or go insolvent in 2034, which means is the people on Social Security will only get the money that's coming in right then, which means there's a 25% immediate reduction in benefits out of Social Security. We have to start working that now. The sooner we get to that, the easier the fixes are. But if we wait till 2031, 2032, the challenge is that much bigger. And so I want to preserve Social Security. I just would say that the math doesn't work. I mean, when we started Social Security back in the 1930s, the retirement age was 65, but that was also life expectancy. Now we're going to 84 and 85 for those who are younger. That's life expectancy, but our retirement age is 67. At some point, we got to figure out how to make that work. And I want to preserve it. But if we do nothing, those on Social Security will lose 25% of their Social Security income in 2034. And that's not right.
But so you support raising the retirement age for a certain...
If for those who are younger, we should do some incremental increases to reflect the fact that we are living until we're 83, 84, 85. And I'm talking about people in their 30s right now. We should protect the age where they're at for those in it now or nearing retirement. But I would even say that doesn't get you everything. That's only a partial thing, but it would restore the long-term health for Social Security to make some minor changes like that.
Okay. Let's go back to immigration. You mentioned it earlier. You sponsored and the House passed the Kerry Orozco Act,
right,
basically helping out families of fallen officers. Many people said that's a great first step in resolving the immigration situation. What's the next step? What is next on Don Bacon's plate when it comes to immigration?
Well, for the Kerry Orozco bill, I need to get the Senate to pass it. So I was just off the phone. I want to say which senator, okay, right before I start talking to you. So I need your commitment to put that bill in the Senate. So so I've got to work that, and that's part of getting a bill passed. You have to get it through both houses, and so I am working still that bill hard to get it done through the Senate side. We owe it to our law enforcement, our firefighters. We owe it to Hector Orozco, the husband. Now I think the next step is bigger. We need to have a more comprehensive immigration bill, and I voted on 2 of them to do that. And we need more security because it's not just about immigration. We have ISIS, Al Qaeda. Unclassified reports that were classified about 6 months ago said there's 15 Sunni extremists a day somewhere in that pipeline trying to go into Brazil and then through Central America. Guatemala says they have 40 Sunni extremists in custody that were trying to come to the United States that they caught on the way. We have fentanyl that's going to kill, overdoses will kill about 70,000 people this year, more than Vietnam in 12 years. Then we also have human trafficking, so that we need security at the border. It's not just about immigration. But we also need to do smarter legal immigration reforms. We need to expand H-1s, H-2s, H-4s. Catch and release does not work. When we find someone coming across the border and we release them, only half come back. That doesn't work. That's a breakdown of rule of law. So we need to find a way to hold folks, have those judicial hearings. So I was willing to spend more money for judges, better facilities to hold people so it's more humane. But then we have to figure out what we're going to do for our DACA and our TPS. And I believe if we can solve the security issue so that we can prevent what we've had happen in the past, and we can fix that for the future, make reforms to our legal immigration, have things like E-Verify even, then I think most of our residents want to be compassionate to DACA and give them a pathway to citizenship. Even our president has said that's what he wants to do if he can get those fixes. So I think that's what we need to do. It needs to involve security, predictability and rule of law, but also compassion. And I think and people will buy into that. What I find is some folks only want to do the security end, some folks only want to do the compassionate end, and I don't think our district reflects that. Our district wants to see the problem fixed with compassion.
And then finally, just briefly, your opponent says you vote with your party nearly 100% of the time. Would a vote for Don Bacon be a vote for Donald Trump?
It's a vote for our district. Yeah, I hear that all the time. You vote so much with the president, and I've looked on the House floor all the time. I've never seen the president vote, so that's this common line. Right. But I have fulfilled the promises that I ran on last time. I was very clear on my positions, my platform 2 years ago, and ended up being the only Republican to defeat an incumbent Democrat in the House or Senate. But I did it by being very clear, straightforward, and I have, to the best of my ability, to try to fulfill those promises in the House. So I would say I have voted 100% of the time to fulfill the promises I made and the values that I share and what I think is right for the 2nd District.
Okay. Well, we're going to be right back with some final thoughts, including why Congressman Don Bacon wants your vote this November. He'll tell you himself. First, a reminder, your comments are an important part of the show. If you want to be heard, email them to news@ketv.com. Love hearing from you, and we'll be right back. This is KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. Today we've been talking with 2nd Congressional Congressman, Republican Don Bacon. As we do with all our candidates, I want to give you a minute to make a final pitch to your voters. You can do it right here at this camera. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Rob. We've achieved great results the last 2 years. We have the best economy in 5 decades, the lowest unemployment in 49 years. Growth when we came in January 17, it was 1.2%. Now it's 4.2%. Wage growth, that's because we did tax reform and we changed the regulations and created a more balanced environment. We've restored our nation's defense that was hurting after cuts of 18% from 2010 while we're fighting 2 wars. We've made good fixes to the VA. We've made good progress on opioid crisis that we have, as well as against human trafficking. But we still have lots to do. And this choice, this election is going to be between a Nebraskan conservative or someone who affiliates with the Democratic Socialist perspective. And I believe this district wants to have a more moderate, conservative way forward. I ask for your vote this November so we can continue the success that we've had the last 2 years. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Congressman Bacon. This is KETV News Watch 7's Chronicle. We want to thank you for joining us. If you missed any part of the interview, it's online right now at ketv.com. Go to our homepage, click on the menu button, then look for Chronicle. It's easy right there. You'll find the interview. Also, you'll find last week's interview with Democrat challenger Kara Eastman. So I also want to put out a word there. Make sure you go out and vote, because all this doesn't matter unless you actually make your voice heard. I'm Rob McCartney. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning.